Okay, look at the Torah, Parshas Devarim, page Aleph, second column.
We have three of these now.
No, one is from the back, one's missing. People borrowed a very expensive pair of tefillin, indefinitely. It's missing, I don't know where it is. Okay, anyway. Okay, so the Alter Rebbe, based on the Pasim Mishpat Yipada V'Sheva B'Tzaka, meanwhile he's not talking about this yet. So he says that the Shanechim Mitzavcha Hayim, every day Torah mitzvahs have to be new. So l'chayra, how is that possible? So he starts explaining the Neshama, Yeridus, and by the way, Yeridus and Neshama B'Guf. The purpose of Neshama coming into the body, he explains it comes from Torhede, Yata V'Rotza, Yitzata, Nefachta. It comes from the highest levels to the lowest levels. And he says, then he starts explaining this concept of Meidem Anachnu Loch that we say in davening. So Meidem Anachnu Loch seemingly means that there's an argument and now we admit to you. So what's the argument? In Gemara you have Meidem Chacham Rab Meir. It means the Chacham and Rab Meir are arguing and the Chacham given to Rab Meir. But here, what do you mean we're giving it to Hashem, that what? So he said even though both things belong to Hashem. But there's Hashem's approach, our approach. Hashem's approach is, he's Yesh, we're Ayin. Our approach is, we're Yesh, he's Ayin. So what's the Avodah of a Jew through davening and all that stuff? The Avodah of a Jew is to internalize the level of Amunah and Seviv Kolam in a way that we admit to Hashem, by the way, you're right. The world is nothing and you're the real thing. So he says, how do you come to that level of Ahava, that you become one with Hashem, that's all you want? That means the world is ayin, the world is really nothing. So he says, that's the meditation, is what we just started not long ago, yesterday I mean. Because it's with the beinunus of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. So then you meditate that Hashem is Malchus and Memshala. Okay, so this is where we're up to. We're going to start second column. 8 lines to the top of the second column. Okay, so he says, all the worlds of above, the lower Gan Eden, which is tiny, which are much greater tiny than this world, like it says, the Gemara says, the Agmut of the Ladain, it's worth for Achad to be punished in Gehenim to come to Gan Eden. So you imagine the pleasure of Gan Eden is infinitely greater than that's the lower level of Gan Eden. Gan Eden, and then there's Gan Eden Elyon. V'yesh eid aliyas lein case. And then there's infinite levels of godliness. Kulim nisavel, all of them were created only from the level of Malchus, only from the level of speech. That means Gan Eden, Dachten, Elyon, the highest, all the way up there in the highest spiritual realms are only Malchus, only speech. Therefore, creation is called Yesh Mi'ayin. Because the creation of Nivroim Mechinas Shu Ka'ayin Ve'efes is a level compared to Hashem is nothing. In other words, when we say Yesh Mi'ayin, okay, there's a lot of, why do we call it Yesh Mi'ayin? So simply is, from our perspective, this world exists, godliness, we've got to think about it. Here, Alter Rebbe is explaining another interpretation of Ayin. The world's creation, the world's existence, comes from Malchus, which is speech, which compared to Hashem is Ayin. Not only from our perspective, even from Hashem's perspective, the Ayin that created the whole universe, Machshava, Dibur, whatever, is all nothing. U'b'chinas u'malchut midas, Malchus, that's the level of Malchus. The Gamzes, and even the level of Malchus doesn't come in the way Malchus is by itself. It's through a tzimtzum. Like we learn Malchus of Atzilus goes into Bria, remember, but we learned there's a parsa. There's a curtain between Atzilus and Bria, between Bria and Yitzira. That means that curtain blocks, it's not even Malchus the way Malchus is by itself. In other words, Malchus itself is the lowest of all levels. And even the lowest of all levels that creates world is only through a curtain, meaning that itself is very, with a lot of tzimtzum.
Does he care about dealing with Achronim?
Who, does he care?
Yeah.
He cares because that's what he wanted. Nisava Kadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem had a desire, and Alter Rebbe says the expression, If a taiva frekt minish kin kashis, you can't ask, why do you like whatever? You like it. Why do you like it? Somebody else hates it. You like it. Why do you like it? You can't ask why.
So it is something to him. It's not like that. Dir Tachtonim is nothing to him.
It's nothing to him. What's that? No. Creation is nothing compared to him. It's only for Malchus, right? Speech. One word compared to the power of speech, all that stuff. Dir v'tachtenim is what we accomplish. And that's why he created this whole thing. Yes.
Rabbi, the ayin, is there contractions in ayin?
Sure.
Even though it's called ayin,
there's more nothing, bigger nothings,
right.
Smaller nothings. There were a bunch of people working on bittul, and this guy saying, I'm a nothing in the sun, the other guy saying, I'm a nobody. All of a sudden, another simple Jew said, I'm also a nothing. So he said, look who thinks he's a nothing. Like the marshal of a king. How does a king rule the country? The king, his body never even leaves the palace, so to speak. He never goes to the peasants, except Melech Basada coming up. But Bachal, the king, what rules the country? It's the name of the king. What's the name of the king compared to the essence of the king? It's nothing. This whole thing is in the realm of Ishtaushlus. You have higher, lower, you have Yesh Mi'ayin, Bria, Yesh Mi'ayin, and so on. But through Teshuva, Maisim Tevim, you can reveal the essence of Hashem. So the Rebbe is saying, why does the neshama come down? It comes from such a high place. So he says, because all the higher worlds, Gan Eden, where the neshama is before, even the higher Gan Eden, wherever, even higher than Gan Eden. Okay? Neshama originates in Atzilus. Gan Eden is Bria. Okay, so it's created in Atzilus, dumped into Bria, whatever. In the reservoir of the neshamas. So he says, when a person comes into this world, through Teshuva, Maisim Tevim, it's better than the whole Olam Haba, meaning the highest level of Olam Haba is nothing compared to Torah mitzvahs in this world. Why? Like he explained in the other Maimorim, because this world is Seviv, that's where you could do Teshuva, because it's all Makif. In Makif, there's no top or bottom, there's no past, present, or future. So he says, another thing a person needs to understand, you can only, in Olam Haba, you can only go up gradually. There's a system. You need Kafakela, you need Gehenim, you need Gan Eden Tachten, then you have Nar Dinar, then Gan Eden Elyon, Kamishpat Aroi, the Fisha Bechinas Mamal. In other words, when a neshama passes away, goes up to Gan Eden, there's a process. First, you have to have Kafakela. Or Chibur HaKevi doesn't say. Then you need Gehenim. Then you need to go to Gan Eden. Then you want to go from one level of Gan Eden to the higher level of Gan Eden, you need to go through the mikveh called Nar Dinur, which is a spiritual mikveh, whatever that means. I don't know. But there's something up there called Nar Dinur. You have to tavel, the neshama has to tavel in Nar Dinur to be able to leave Gan Eden Tachton's level to go up to Gan Eden Elyon. But it's all systematic. Everything it runs on a system.
How does the neshama tolerate it?
Huh?
How does the neshama tolerate such process?
On the contrary, it's going up to a higher level. It loves it.
But it seems very, very tough.
Why is it tough?
It says the fire.
But let me give you a little hint. Don't sin your neshama when you have to go to Gehenna. Or a little bit, maybe. He said, because it's mamale. You can change, you can be transformed in 1 second from one extreme to another extreme. Where do you actually din, there's a din. The Gemara says in Kedushin and Mekadosh, you see some in Ashu Tzadik Gomor. The Gemara says like this: a guy does Kedushin with a woman. He says, "Areat Mekadosh Sivit Tabazu," on the condition I'm a Tzadik Gomor. So the Gemara says Mekudeshes, or the Gemara says Safik Mekudesh, whatever. Afilo Rasha Gomer, even if the guy is a complete Rasha, and he gives a woman a ring and he says, "I have Mekudesh on the condition I'm a Tzadik Gomer." It's a Safik Mekudeshes. So the Gemara says, "Why Luchei is a Rasha?" Shem here Teshuva. Maybe he thought Teshuva. Now think about it. The guy sinned his whole life. He's getting married at 80 or 90 in the old age home. He's getting married. And he says to the woman, he's a Rosh his whole life. The guy gives the woman a ring. Says, I have a Kadesh, I'm an Asher Nitzadik Gomor. So the Gemara says, Safik Mukadeshes. Why? Maybe he thought Teshuva. That means he didn't do Vidu, he didn't cry, he didn't do Al-Chetz, he didn't have Yom Kippur, nothing. How could that be? From a Rosh Gomor to a Tzadik Gomor in 1 second. Because there's a revelation of save it. And save it, it's a very interesting thing. There's a whole discussion from the Rogatchover about this, and the Rebbe asks a question on the Rogatchover. The Gemara says, if you Mekadosh a woman, even if you, on the condition that I'm rich, yeah? No, I'm sorry, on the condition I'm poor, and he ends up to be rich, it's still Ein Mekudeshes. Because Hitler is schwach, or if he made a mistake, better or worse. Maybe the girl wanted a poor guy, not a rich guy. Maybe she wanted somebody stupid, not smart. Whatever it is. If you change in the Kedushin, I mean, if the condition is not met, whether it's a better condition or a worse condition, it's Ein Mekudeshes. Yeah? This is how the Rogatchover explains the machlekes in the Gemara of what's better about Teshuva or a tzaddik. And Bracha says a machlekes, Rabbi with somebody else. What's better, a tzaddik or about Teshuva? There's a similar machlekes in Bava Metzia. What's better, silver or gold? It's a machlekes in the Mishnah. What's better, silver or gold?
What's the market value?
Some opinions say gold is more valuable. Some people say silver is better because it's a currency. You can't deal with gold. What are you going to do with gold? Silver is useful. Okay, so the Rogatchover connects it to these two things. About Teshuva is like gold, and a tzaddik is zahav. A tzaddik is pure, white, nichseif nichsafti. About Teshuva is like gold is a little reddish. Reddish represents a little sinish. Yeah, gold is not like pure like a silver. So the machlekes, what's better, gold or silver, is the same machlekes, what's better, tzaddik or Baal Teshuva. That's what the Rogatchover says. The Rebbe asks, l'chayra, it's not true, because if a guy says, I'm an Ashani tzaddik gomor, even if he's a Rosh Gomor, it's Mekadesh. Yeah, why? Maybe he did Teshuva. Right? Maybe he did Teshuva. But if he did Teshuva, then he's about Teshuva, then he's greater than a tzaddik. And if he's greater than a tzaddik, then it's again not a good kedushin. Right? So l'chayra, that should anyway not be a good kedushin. Because if about Teshuva is greater than a tzaddik, and he says on the kedushin I'm a tzaddik, so maybe he did Teshuva, he's about Teshuva, so then it's not anyway good. So the Rebbe explains, based on this Rogatchover, that there's two levels of Teshuva. There's a level of Teshuva that makes you a tzaddik. It's Dainis Nasa like a Zachias. And then the higher level about Teshuva, the Averis become mitzvahs. When they hear Teshuva, doesn't make a Rebbe Loza ben Dodaya about Teshuva. It makes him a regular about Teshuva, that Averis become wiped off. Right? You become Gishgagas. So that's but you have the concept, there's a level of Teshuva that can transform the person from one extreme to the next. But that can only be done here. He said, why could it be done down here and not in Gan Eden? In Gan Eden, you can't skip Kafakela Gehenim. You can't come up there and say, okay, I'm skipping Gehenim, I'm going straight to Gan Eden. It doesn't work. There's a system you have to go through.
You can't pay it off.
No, you can't pay it off. If you give a lot of money to Shaw, give you a receipt. Over there, they take receipts.
So the lower level of
Yeah. Because it's saviv, so there's not anything organized yet, right? You can transform one another. Therefore, the Gemara says, period. And that's what it says in the pasuk. Meirev Kol Tachas. The pasuk says like this: Tachas Shulav by the Teichachas. Ma Tachas Shulavadet Hashem Lakecha B'Simcha Uvetuv Levav Meirev Kol. What does it mean? It means Lamal Mi'elam Habam. It's even greater than Meirev Kol. It's even higher than Olam Haba that's called Kol. Therefore, the Ahavta has to be not only with the guf, but even with the nefesh. So therefore, what's the ultimate purpose of the neshama coming down from these lofty levels of Gan Eden? To be able to transform it, how? Through Torah mitzvahs. And that's what it says. The Alter Rebbe asked the question at the beginning of the Maimer. He quotes this pasuk. Every day Torah mitzvah have to be new because it says that means every day Hashem is commanding it to us. So the Rebbe says, what does it say though in the pasuk? Because the mitzvahs come from Anechi, which is higher than Seviv, higher than Mamala, if over there's no time and place, so therefore it's Hayim. There's no past, present, and future. It's all the same. Anechi misha anechi atzmusi is barich. Mitzavcha, bind loshin is kashrus, and the connection is not from barich shem kvei malchusa loylam vod. The connection with Hashem is anechi mitzavcha yeh. That means because Anechi is binding, right? Mitzavcha means binding. Therefore, Tzayin Dafka V'lei Mocha B'Elam Haba She'ein Arakal Kabos Charim is only to get reward. So he says, this world, a person has an ability to accomplish unbelievable. What the Gemara says in Erevin, that this world, Hai Alma Kabehi Lula Damya. This world is like a wedding. Grab and eat, because soon the party's over. And the restaurant's closed. So you better chaparan, like they say. And therefore, when you meditate, what we accomplish every day, you'll be why? Only today. In this world, not in Olam Haba. Can you bring down the essence of Hashem? In Olam Haba you can't. It is what it is. It's too late. Therefore the mitzvahs are called the 248 limbs of Hashem. Now how do mitzvahs get the limbs? Limbs are limbs, and mitzvahs are mitzvahs. He said, because what is the concept of a limb? A limb, like the eye, brings down the koyach hariyah. The mouth brings down koyach hadibur. It's a keli for that. So what does it mean? Mitzvahs are the vessels for the koyach of Hashem to become revealed in the world. Just like the limbs are the keli for the koyach of the neshama to connect to the body internally, not general life. To function in the body. It's the same thing. When you do a mitzvah, you bring down that particular hamshach of elokus to come into the world. And that's why Hashem made 248 mitzvahs. Why not 15, 20, 246? Why 248? Because there's 248 different hamshachas that have to come into the world that we have to come. Now today we don't have a lot of those mitzvahs. Kabbanis, Tumatara, all those mitzvahs we don't have. But whatever it is, mitzvahs are evadim, that limbs that bring down the koyach, or the nefesh, meaning the koyach of Hashem. What?
How come women have 2 more? Why?
They have 4 more limbs.
So how does that work in the overall? Why is because they are more advanced?
Yeah, that's for people listening. They're better. Yeah, the women are better.
No, what does it really mean? Yes.
There's a Teshuva Minchas Elazar. Minchas Elazar asks a question. You know, Krishna. Why do we say Hashem Elokechem Emes? Why need Hashem Elokechem extra? Right? So because Krishna has 245 words. So when we say the 3 words, you're listening to the Chazal, Hashem Elokechem Emes, so then it's 248. So Minchas Elazar asks, so why should women do that? Women don't have 248 limbs, they have 252. Okay? So he says, because it corresponds with 248 limbs of Hashem. Hashem is a white male Ashkenazi. So therefore Hashem has 248 limbs. So therefore even the women do it corresponding with the mitzvahs.
Women have more limbs than God.
What?
Women have more limbs than God.
More limbs? Yeah.
Should be a better.
No comment. I plead the 5th. Okay. Just like a limb. There's a vein that every limb has from the brain. That has the, you want to move your hand. So because the nefesh wants to move it, and it moves the hand. Because it wants. What does it mean? You should love Hashem. What do you mean? Hashem Elokecha. Love God. We say Hashem Elokecha. Hashem. Why does it Hashem Elokecha? So he says that what does it mean? That the love has to be to such an extent that Havaya becomes Elokecha. The infinite becomes internalized in Elokecha b'chol levavcha. That in both parts of the heart, Yetzer Hara, Nefesh Elokit, Nefesh Abamis, also has the Yohavta. The bitterness of the left side is the bitterness that he's meshulke binyani elam hazeh. He's sunken into worldly things. And he's far from Hashem. Yamani in the right ventricle is simcha shel mitzvah. Yitzmach Yisrael be'isa, which are the mitzvahs shenislab shebal siyah. So the Alter Rebbe explains what's going on over here. How is it possible to be how could it be hayim? So he explains because Olam Hazeh is the only world that you can transform from one extreme to the next. You can do tshuva in this world. That level of Anechi Mitzav Hayim means that why is it possible that yesterday hayim, today it's all hayim? Because it's a level of Anechi, Misha Anechi, which is higher than Havaya, higher than Elikim, higher than Seviv, higher than Mamala, higher than finite, higher than infinite. So therefore, Mitzav Hayim, it's possible when Hashem binds us to that level of Elokus, which is above time and place, so then everything is hayim. He said, how do you get to the pasuk? So that's the continuation of Shema. You have the hasbaininess in Shema, okay, and then through the hasbaininess in Shema, you realize v'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha, because now that you realize that that Hashem real is lamata ayin u'lamayla yesh, right? Because all the, like he said before, why is it called yesh mi ayin? Because ayin doesn't only mean our perspective. It means the truth is malchus compared to all the higher levels is only ayin. And that level, you understand, so then it comes to his beinus Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Then through that you come to be a hafta, that you love Hashem because you realize that this whole world is nothing, the only thing that really exists is Hashem. And in this world you could reach a level of Seviv that you can be transformation from one second to the other second, like you explain all those things. And that comes through via hafta, then you realize that Havaya becomes a Elokecha.
That's bringing solar into the knowledge.
Correct. And that's why mitzvahs are called Devarim, because Devarim bring the infinite Koyach HaNefesh into the limited power of the body.
So it's not only Olam Haba. So is by doing mitzvot.
By the way, Seif is not Olam Haba. Olam Haba is Mamala. Gan Eden is Mamala. Ziv Ashchina. This world is Seif. When you do Torah mitzvahs in this world, that's why it can only be down here. You don't have mitzvahs in Gan Eden. In Mamala Kolam, which is Gan Eden, for that matter, technically, Yatzil Bri Yitzir Asir, oh, Mamala, it's a world. Yeah? Over there, because it's Mamala, it is what it is, and that's it. There's a system. You have to go through Kafrakela, Gehenim, Nardinur, all that stuff. This world, you go straight up. So then what happens? You internalize in the world of Seviv, you bring the level of Seviv in a way that b'chol levavcha, that you actually feel it internally.
When you do a mitzvah, is the mitzvah sovereign or not?
Here he's saying Seviv. Reality is atzmos. You do a mitzvah, anechi mitzavcha. You do a mitzvah, you connect to the essence. Not even Seviv, you connect really higher. Ato. That's what the Rebbe Rashav writes the expression, Kol ha-mitzvahs misyachzim elo atzmos. All mitzvahs are connected to the essence. Because the mitzvah is anechi mitzavcha, anechi havai elekecha. It's a level of anechi, misha anechi. That is what binds us, that we're able to take Havayan, internalize it into Elokecha. We can feel that level of Elokus. Gan Eden, you only feel the ray of the Shekhinah. So right now, the advantage of Gan Eden is, granted it's a ray, but you feel it. Then, this world, we bring down the essence, but we don't feel it. But now we do it. When Mashiach comes, Chis HaMesim, then we're going to feel the essence that we accomplished during the time of Golus.
Just